SEADENSUN'S Grand Champion Gritler, ROM Register of Merit.
Grand Champion Gritler, from the SEADENSUN kennel, is 62.5% inbred on the Grand Champion Yellow bloodline, with 25% Caver blood and 12.5% inbreeding from the Champion Saloon line. He is a dog with very good conformation and is his owner's house dog. He easily defeated Mamba, a two-time winner, 2XW, who was considered the best prospect at that stage, an above-average dog. Even with 4 victories to his credit, many people still said he had an easy life and that his gameness, bravery/tenacity, had never truly been tested. It was only after the match against Chilli Baba that people could see what a great dog he is. He died after that match, only to be revived by his team. In his 5th match, he was tested even further, as the dog Nigger caused much more damage in a single fight than all the others combined. In my opinion, it takes a great dog to make a comeback after such a beating and still win in under 40 minutes. In his last scratch, attack/restart, he nearly knocked Nigger and his team out of the pit. He is currently one of the greatest of all time in South Africa across all categories, especially in the yellow class. He is retired and has made us proud by becoming a Grand Champion after his father, Grand Champion Sir Thomas, producer of record, and by producing 2 Grand Champions himself, GRCH Toulouse, 6 wins, and GRCH Countdown, 7 wins. Now, if that isn't the makeup of a true game dog, then what is? Gritler's bloodline was imported from the United States in 1987 by Brainy Smurf. The dog Tance David, was later sold to K. Bota, as he didn't like the dog as a puppy. K. Bota later did a sibling mating that didn't work well, but when crossed with Caver/Saloon dogs, it seems to have hit the mark. They performed so well that one can hardly believe these fighting dogs could come from such mediocre parents and yet produce champions in return. Perhaps this highly inbred line just wanted an outcross, introduction of new blood, to show its hybrid vigor. Good luck to this well-established line. May Gritler's legacy and blood live forever. By Sunny Boy.
SEADENSUN'S Gritler vs. Mabaker's Psycho Cedric. Weight, 22.5 kilograms.
Both dogs were weighed, Gritler and Psycho were on weight. The referee ordered the handlers to release, and they did. The dogs meet in the middle, and it begins. At 10 minutes, both dogs are working hard and trading holds. 5 minutes later, Psycho grabs Gritler's leg and breaks it. Gritler screams and manages to get Psycho off his leg by going on the defensive. Psycho starts to tire, and Gritler seems more in control. At 24 minutes, a turn, momentary giving up/turning away, was called on Psycho. 3 minutes later, Mabaker handles, picks up, which completes a good scratch. Gritler is now in total control. At the 33rd minute, SEADENSUN handles Gritler, who also completes a breathtaking scratch and starts working hard on Psycho's throat. Psycho has no answer for Gritler's ability. At the 41st minute, Psycho still has no response and cannot defend himself. At 43 minutes, Mabaker concedes the fight, making Gritler a one-time winner, 1XW. Both complete their courtesy scratches.
SEADENSUN'S 1XW Gritler vs. Combined Kennel's Caleb. Weight, 24 kilograms.
The dogs were weighed, the referee asks to release the dogs, and they did. Gritler takes control immediately, Caleb cannot get any holds. At 10 minutes, Caleb is attacking hard but still cannot break Gritler's defense. At 25 minutes, Gritler is working very hard on a Caleb who is on the bottom. A turn was called on Gritler, and the referee acknowledged it. SEADENSUN handles his dog, who performs a great scratch, meeting Chilli with force in his own corner. 3 minutes later, Chilli was handled and also completes his turn to scratch. Gritler starts working hard on Chilli's throat. At 32 minutes, Combined Kennels concedes the match, making Gritler a 2-time winner, 2xw. Chilli did not complete his courtesy scratch.
SEADENSU'N'S 2xw Gritler vs. K Club's 2xw Mamba. Weight, 23.3 kilograms.
The dogs were weighed, Gritler was 200 g overweight, and the forfeit was paid by SEADENSUN. The referee called the handlers to release their dogs, and they did. Mamba gets a very good chest hold. Gritler fights for the next 2 minutes to get Mamba off his chest. At 5 minutes, Gritler succeeds and hits a nasty bleeder, vein/artery, on Mamba's nose. Mamba gets past Gritler's defense, going back to the chest. Gritler removes him, and a few minutes pass where Mamba's bleeding starts to weaken him. His face is now very swollen and full of blood. Gritler is now working very hard on Mamba, who is on the bottom at 30 minutes. Gritler starts working Mamba's throat, and Mamba struggles to breathe, his tongue turns blue. At this point, the K Club team claims they should pick up their dog, and they did. At 37 minutes, he concedes, making the 2xw Gritler a champion, 3xw. Mamba completes his courtesy scratch. He died shortly after.
SEADENSU'N'S Champion Gritler vs. Buffalo Bill's 1xw Chilli Baba. Weight, 23.8 kilograms.
The dogs were weighed. Gritler was under at 23.6 kilograms. The referee asks the handlers to release their dogs, and they did. The dogs meet in the center. The match was very even for both dogs for 20 minutes. It could still go either way. Gritler shows better ability than Chilli, putting Chilli on his back time after time. At 25 minutes, Chilli defends against Gritler's shoulder and throat attack. 10 minutes later, Gritler starts to run hot, overheat, and begins trading throat holds for shoulder holds to catch his breath. At the 39th minute, SEADENSUN asks for a turn on Gritler, and the referee acknowledges the turn. 6 minutes later, Chilli's front leg is completely useless, and he struggles to walk, stumbling forward. At 1 hour, Chilli cannot get up from the floor, and Gritler starts working on a down Chilli with force on the throat and shoulders. At the 65th minute, SEADENSUN handles Gritler, who performs a strong scratch into Chilli. 7 minutes later, Buffalo Bill handles Chilli, who completes a game scratch, brave attack, with great courage. At 1 hour and 17 minutes, Buffalo Bill conceded, making Champion Gritler a 4-time winner, for XW. Chilli died later. The failed matches. Gritler's weight was released and accepted by Champion Or, from Red Devil, who cancelled the match on the day because he didn't agree with SEADENSUN'S guest list. The second attempt was against Ma Baker's Tuffy, 2xw, where they apparently had a sick dog that fought. This was just an excuse not to face Champion Gritler. They later tried to cherry-pick Champion Red and lost. A third attempt with Kojak's Nigger was a successful matchup. The weight was fixed at 23.2 kilograms because they couldn't reach 24 kilograms. SEADENSUN agreed to meet their demands as he was now desperate.
SEADENSU'N'S 4xw Gritler vs. Kojak's Nigger. Weight, 23.0 kilograms.
The dogs were weighed, Gritler at 23.2 kilograms and Nigger at 23.5 kilograms. Both dogs were overweight, no forfeit was charged. It could be anyone's fight. Scheduled to start at 9 p.m., and so it happened. The referee asks the handlers to release their dogs. The two meet in the middle. Gritler loses a tooth in the process. Suddenly, Nigger opens a bleed on Gritler's cheek and appears to have torn a hole right through his cheek. Nigger is damaging Gritler's head area, causing enormous damage and displaying a tremendous bite. At 7 minutes, Gritler has open wounds on his head and neck with bleeding that seems to have stopped on his cheek. 4 minutes later, Kojak asks for a turn on Nigger. The referee acknowledges. Nigger still has better skill. Gritler struggles to make his mark. At the 18th minute, Gritler starts to take control, breaking Nigger's defense, working the shoulders and throat. 3 minutes later, Kojak handles Nigger, who completes a good scratch. Gritler is starting to dominate while the rival shows signs of fatigue. At 23 minutes, Nigger's hind legs are starting to collapse. Gritler seems to have disabled Nigger's front legs with some good shakes and is working the throat and shoulders hard. Gritler is now in total control. At 25 minutes, SEADENSUN manages to handle Gritler, who completes a strong scratch, nearly knocking Nigger and his handler out of the arena. 2 minutes later, another handle occurred, which Nigger completes. Gritler is now putting Nigger on his back and working the shoulders. When SEADENSUN handles for one more time, he comes flying out of the corner. At 32 minutes, Kojak sees that Nigger has no answer for Gritler's style and ability and cannot get up while Gritler is working on him. Kojak concedes Nigger at 32 minutes, thus making Gritler a grand champion, winner of 5 matches, 5xw. Nigger completes his courtesy scratch with some motivation.
Some good dogs produced by Gritler were
Toulouse, 6xw, 6-time winner. Countdown, 7xw/1xgl, 7 wins/1 game loss. Gator, 2xw. Geel Books, 1xw. Jade, 1xgl/1xw. Evil Eyes, 1xw/1xgl. Arnie, 2xw.